Do you know what the most important skill a person can have right now and really would help you in every area of your life? My skill, the ability to read life accurately, to be able to see and study energy as it's unfolding, to use both your left brain and your right brain, your head brain and your heart brain, to get as much clear information as you can so that you can make decisions that help you navigate the unpredictable. Well, the good news is this is a quality that is teachable and is learnable, and it's what I've devoted myself to for the last 50 years. But talk about need it now more than ever. My name's Sonia Choquette. Thanks for tuning in. I've been talking about the transformation that is going on in this planet for the last few months. We are in a magnificent transformation and vibrational shift, leaving the third dimension of left brain exclusively, and particularly negative left brain, fearful, protective, fighter dog left brain, which is where most people are parked, and moving into whole brain, heart brain, gut brain, higher consciousness of the fifth dimension, where we're using our inner senses and recognizing our true spiritual nature. The consequence of having all of that activated simultaneously gives you the ability to read life as it is unfolding accurately. And think about it. The worst thing we can do, and where we run into all our troubles, is we misread life. We fail to see the writing on the wall. We don't read people correctly. We don't see the forest for the trees. We completely get blindsided and end up making decisions and caught off guard and sometimes to some really catastrophic losses. My name's Sonia Choquette. Thanks for tuning in. As an intuitive spiritual teacher and guide, I have been teaching people to read life accurately for over 50 years. And quite honestly, the first 45 of them, everybody thought I was a nut. And now I'm the most popular person in the room because we need it. Life has become so unpredictable. We can no longer have the luxury of staying checked out. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you're coming back, guess what? As we move into 2024, we are going to learn how to read life accurately at the highest level. It is the most empowering skill and one you cannot afford to ignore. So let's talk today about what blocks your ability to read life accurately. What keeps you in the dark and blindsided and overwhelmed and shut down and misreading things and caught off guard and completely thrown by your misassumptions about things? Well, the first thing is being checked out. Now, I have noticed the ability to be checked out is so comfortable for most people. I mentioned it before in another week that I travel a lot by public transportation because I live in two different countries. I live in France part-time, I live in London part-time, and I travel for work. So I am often on public transportation. What I notice when I am out and about is how people are so glued to their phones and so unconscious that you can literally be yelling at them and they don't even hear you. Now, it is a bit of a self-protective, I guess, habit to tune out. Plus those phones and that technology is addictive. And all that negative news coming at you kind of gets you sucked in. And so you really do check out, and it really shapes your perceptions and manipulates you. So the first thing you have to do is to recognize that if I'm not checked in, if I'm not present, I'm not going to get anything accurate. And I have a friend who is married and has a couple little kids. And she is a stay-at-home mom, and her husband is a wonderful guy. But he works in a tech company, and he's busy all the time. And especially tech is changing all the time. But I've noticed when I'm with them, he's really checked out. You can be going and we're talking and playing, and kids are laughing and playing, and he is just either face in phone, face in computer, staring at a game on TV, but he's not engaged on any level with what is happening. Now, in their family constellation, it doesn't, from what I can see, appear to be a big problem. But I just look at how much he's missing out, especially just not tuned into anything. And I know he's probably just trying to reset. But this checked out state is, he might as well not be in the room. And one time, the whole conversation went around and nobody even consulted him on, it was about what to have for dinner. Nobody even consulted him because why? He wasn't checked in. So ask yourself, are you like that? Are you checked out? Are you tuning people out? If you are, it's probably because you're in a state of anxiety and fear, and it's a way to protect yourself. So while I can appreciate the motivation to protect yourself, it isn't protecting yourself. You're actually putting yourself in a far more vulnerable position because you're not aware. If you're not aware, you're not informed. If you're not informed, you can't respond. So what you want to do is practice being present. And this is going to take some real motivation. If you're used to being checked out, your nervous system is numbed. So you have to start slowly coming back into your body, slowly coming back into the world around you. And the way you do this is with your breath. So breathe in through the nose, hold for 2, and exhale. But here's how you breathe in. You breathe in, say, to the count of 4, hold for 2, and breathe out to the count of 6. Slowly. This just sort of wakes up your senses and brings you back to the present moment. If you do that, say, 2 or 3 times, you start to feel again. And then the other way to check back into your body, believe it or not, is to make sound. Our throat chakras get shut down. It's like getting us corked and stuffed in here, shoved up here, and we lose our ability to be present. So you can sing. You can sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's from The Sound of Music. That activates all of your chakras and brings you back to life. Plus, it's a fun song to sing. You can sing baby songs like row, row, row your boat. That's a really good one. And because these mantras wake you up and bring you back around. You can sing, if you are comfortable singing, you can sing the words to songs you like, or you can just make noise. That opens up the throat chakra, and then you start to reconnect the head to the body. Another fun thing you can do is like what little kids do sirens. I used to do that in workshops many years ago, and you find it's called toning. That's something you can do, and where you can probably do that most comfortably is if you did it in the shower, because the water drowns you out and the door is shut and you have some privacy and you're not self-conscious. And I'll tell you, that toning really does help you be back in your body. And when you let out that you're going to hit a note that really you want to keep repeating. And that's because there's a whole lot of trauma blocked in your body, and your emotions got trapped and you got stuck, and that just kind of lets it out. It's sort of like let the dogs out. So that's another really effective way to get back and to start waking up your inner senses. The other thing is there's a game kids used to play that this is very helpful to wake up your ability to read life and just be present. It's called I Spy. So you spy things like little details far away, like I spy. Remember that game, I Spy with My Little Eye? A green bird in the tree. You have to look for it, because it pulls you out of your internal state and starts pulling you to look in the world around you. It's so funny. I just said that, and a green bird just landed in the tree outside of my door. I think that one of my neighbors has some green parakeets that they let out, and evidently they keep going home. So here he is. I spy that green little bird. So this is another little sit-up that you want it, but you have to recognize being present gives you power. The more informed you are, the more you're in your body and using your 5 physical senses to notice what's in front of you, the better you're going to make decisions. You're going to start noticing things. For example, I had a client who was telling me that she was on a bus and she decided to do kind of the I Spy thing. and she noticed someone getting on the bus, at the other end of the bus, but just seemed super, super ungrounded, not at ease, not threatening. It wasn't like she felt scared, but just felt like that person was in trouble. So rather than tuning out, she kind of checked him out. And after a few stops, she just felt her heart open and went and asked him, just sat by him and looked at him, and he looked away a couple times. And then she said, "Are you okay?" And he just started sobbing and said, "My wife just died. I'm completely bereft. I don't even know what to do or where I'm going." So she said, "Well, if you want to get off at the bus, I'll sit with you at the bus stop and we can talk." And he did. She got off and sat at the bus stop with him. They talked for a little while. He just sobbed, and then she gave him a hug, and he said, "Thank you. You probably saved my life today." Now, maybe this isn't your nature, but she said it made me feel like my life was worth living again. I just felt so useless and nothing was worthwhile. And just that encounter, by just checking in and paying attention, gave my life meaning again. It let me feel like I'm part of the human race and can do some good. So when we start checking in and noticing, I want you to practice especially noticing what's, our negative bias, our left brain. It's in two parts. We have a left brain that's super protective, and that's the brain that most people are using now, and it's just looking for every bit of trouble and threat, and we can get parked there. But there's another left brain that's just looking for detail, just what's going on around here. I have a 3-year-old granddaughter, and she says all the time, "What's that?" She's just listening. She's just looking. She says, "I don't know what that is. Let's check it out." And that is the very healthy use of your left brain and your outer senses. I don't know what that is. Let's check it out instead of I assume I know and I'm going to just tell a story or tune it out. So you start to look for details. What's beautiful? What feels good? What's right in front of me? What am I hearing? What am I smelling? What am I sensing? I had one client who was telling me she started to check it out as I suggested in one of my classes in Reading Life. And she said, "I smelled something funny in the kitchen. It was just kind of sweet. Didn't feel right. Didn't smell quite right." And it bothered me enough to Google it. Like, what if you smell a funny, sweet smell? And I found out when I Googled it that it meant that maybe there was some kind of an electrical burning wires. And so I called the fire department. Now, maybe I freaked out, but they came and said that, yes, in fact, behind the wall of the refrigerator, the wiring was starting a slow burn, and I saved my apartment from being burned down. That's what checking it out did for me. Very intuitive hunch to not just ignore it, but I had to be present to sense it to begin with. So in reading life accurately, that's where we want to start. Let's start by checking in, unplugging, checking in, and paying attention to the world around us. That is one of my favorite definitions of intuition that my teacher taught me when I first started learning to read life accurately. He said that reading life accurately is paying attention and noticing the subtle. So that's what we're going to do this week. Pay attention. Make it a game. Let's check it out. I don't know what that is. That's such a refreshing state of mind. That is really activating and using all of your senses correctly. So, thanks for tuning into my channel. If you're staying with me and you're back again, I'm so excited because I'm going to be working on teaching you the most incredible, useful skill of your life. To read life accurately, you could make better decisions, be safer, more empowered, ahead of the game, more connected, more creative, more prosperous. The benefits are endless. And if you're new to my channel and you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. Ask for the notification bell to ring when I come back, and become part of this rise to a new human, the new you. And I will see you next week. All my love.